I was American born and I'll die in America.
Welcome to our group.
Welcome to Defenders If Defenders 7 have a challenge, and this ought to show it right here.
Do you or someone you know suffer from depression? If so, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Good evening and welcome to another Defenders 7 medical broadcast with your host, our Colonel, Kimberly PURVIS, and I'm your co-host and General of the Defenders 7, Bobby Ormsby. Welcome all. Before we get into tonight's topics, let me read this disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Defender 7 radio show and Facebook page are those of the callers and or authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Defender 7. That being said, for all of you that are new just tuning in, we have a website. If you type in all lowercase letters, www.defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 small i's.com. There you'll find our store and a donate button. All proceeds from our store and our donations go 100% back to communities throughout all 50 states in a time of need or in any type of shit-hits-a-fan situation. So by all means, please click that donate button or purchase something from our store. Every bit helps. That's how we are able to do for our communities in a time of need. Now, we can also be reached on MeWe by going to organizations and scrolling down to Defenders 7 Humanitarian American Patriot Group. And we can also be reached on our Facebook page by typing in the search box, all capital letters, Defenders 7. That's Defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 large I's. Before you click on that button to join, just know that we expect all of our members and future members to participate throughout everything we do here in the Defender 7. Training, meetups, everything. If you get in and you find that it's not for you, you can always leave with no backlash or anything. Now for tonight's show and all shows we do here on Blog Talk Radio, we enjoy it when you call in and participate. That number to call is area code 914-205-5773. Again, the number to call, area code 914-205-5773. Come on in and show us your support. Now, I'd like to welcome our Colonel Medical Officer, National Medical Officer, your host, Kimberly PURVIS.
Hello.
And I also like to welcome our captain of Wisconsin, Miss Lorna Munson.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
Way to go. Make me think that you can't hear me. Thanks, guys.
Huh?
Hey, that happens to me every damn week, okay? It goes completely silent, and I don't know if I got knocked off or not. Turn up your hearing aid, Bobby. So, from last week's show, Dr. Phil, I get a kick out of that. I don't know why I get a kick out of that. I just think of Dr. Phil off TV. I'm sorry. I don't know why. It just hits me when I say Dr. Phil. It just does. But he had mentioned to go research phthalates, leptins, and such. And then I also looked up BPA. Everybody knows what BPA is, and it's. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but it's in plastics. It's been mostly found in baby food bottles, the nipples, the containers, and things like that. So, but I'm pretty sure everyone's already heard of BPA. But phthalates, yeah, I looked into it, and they don't know the exact damage that it can cause, but or at least from the national. Hold on, and I went on the Food and Drug Administration page and the CDC. Now I know not everybody likes the CDC, but when it comes to other things, it is really reliable. So phthalates are a group of chemicals that's used to make plastics more flexible and harder to break. And a lot of times they call them plasticizers. And this is why I'm like, I don't really care for this product or this chemical. Some of the phthalates are used as solvents or dissolving agents for materials. And they put it in vinyl, flooring, adhesives, laundry detergent, lubricating oils, automotive plastics, plastic coats or clothes like raincoats and stuff, soaps, shampoos, hairspray, nail polish, and makeup. And if you could put a chemical that's used in vinyl flooring and makeup, but it's not in the makeup, it's in the container itself, the glass bottle that it's made out, that the makeup's put in, or the plastic. It's not in the product itself. And over time, the product is going to absorb whatever it's stored in. So the phthalates are widely used in polyvinyl chloride plastics, which is used to make plastic packaging film and sheets, garden hoses, inflatable toys, and the blood storage containers at the hospitals and doctors' offices with the little, it's used in those, medical tubing, and some children's toys. Okay, so how you get exposed to it is by eating and drinking foods that have been in contact with containers and products containing phthalates. To a lesser extent, exposure can occur from breathing in air that contains phthalate vapors or just contaminated with phthalate particles. So pretty much this stuff is everywhere you look. So you can't completely avoid phthalates. It's just one of those things. So children, of course, are at a greater risk of being exposed to the particles and dust than adults. Because of their hand and mouth. That other illness, hand, foot, and mouth, or they call it hoof and mouth, for horses. And everything with children is hand and mouth, everything. You can't keep their hands out of their mouths. So once the phthalates enter a person's body, they're converted into breakdown products, metabolites, and they pass through the urine. Now they're saying that everyone has a certain level already in their body, And that's why they said low amounts do not cause much damage. It's the prolonged exposure to it and how much that you have in your body. So human health effects from exposure to low levels of phthalates are unknown. Some types of phthalates have affected the reproductive system of laboratory animals. So I don't know when they're going to start checking on women's reproductive system. More research is needed to assess the human health effects. The levels of phthalate metabolites in the U.S., see, they've been doing this testing since 1999. And they measure the phthalate metabolites in urine. Scientists can estimate the amount of phthalates that have entered the person's body. They said it's very widespread in the United States. And it's found that adult women have higher levels of urinary metabolites than men because of the soaps, the body washes, shampoos, cosmetics, and personal care products. And there's a list of products, and it's long. And I would say there's a couple hundred products on it, and a lot of baby products. So I'm not saying, don't use them, don't go all crazy and stuff and throw everything out of your house that's one of those products. But just be mindful, knowing how much that you're exposed to, if you want to go that route. But I think I'm going to start taking a better look at how much chemicals we get exposed to anyway. See. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything on. So you could go on the CDC website and just type up phthalate, and it's PHTHALATES, and the CDC website will come up, and it'll go over exactly what I just went over. And on the food and let's see. I want to make sure that this is the one. Yes, the one that's on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Like I said, just type up phthalate and pick the link that says FDA U.S. Food and Drug, and it has a whole list of products. I'll just go over a couple of them. It's not. Let me go over. So this one has a little bit more in depth. So it's also in food packaging, pharmaceuticals, blood bags and tubing, hairsprays, aftershave lotion, and perfumes and other fragrance preparations like, the body mist, those sprays that's like $1 or $2, whatever. It's in those too. So how it's been used in cosmetics is the primary phthalates used in cosmetic products have been, it's called DBP, dibutyl phthalate, and it's a plasticizer. Also, it's in the nail polish, and it's to reduce the cracking. Ladies, I don't know, Lorna, if you do your nails at all or have ever done your nails. I don't do mine.
Oh, hell
all
no.
that often. Well, I do my toenails more than anything. It's just because of when the nail polish chips and you're cooking or whatever. That's why I really don't have as much nail polish on my fingers as I do my toenails. But the DBP helps keep the nail polish from cracking, and it makes them, so it's probably going to be in the higher end products because, that crap don't crack. It's like roaches. It'll withstand the nuclear holocaust.
Nail polish on me would last a day.
On my toes, it lasts about 2 weeks, and then my toenails will grow faster than it will wear off. So that's why I'm not worried about, But and so in hairspray, it's used to help avoid stiffness. So the phthalates are actually in the products. And it's a solvent and a fixative, whatever a fixative is, and fragrances. So, I mean, it's used in everything. But the DMP and the DBP, which is those two, dimethyl phthalate and the dibutyl phthalate, they don't use it as often anymore. And that's probably why. I mean, it's I guess over time they figure out what not to use. So it's not clear what effect, if any, phthalates have on human health. If you pass it through your urine, so probably if you have a high level, it's probably going to affect your bladder and your kidneys over time. I mean, they really don't say how much damage it could do to your body, because all they've said is most people have minimal levels. Let's see, and it just still goes over the cosmetics. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just what they know about infant exposure to phthalates. They're exposed to more than adults because besides air, drugs, food, plastics, water, and cosmetics, in theirs exposed because of baby shampoos, baby lotions, baby powder, the food containers, the formula cans. I mean, theirs is in everything. For some reason, I don't know why they would put it in more baby products than anything, but they just do. There's about 50 products for children and infants that have a lot of phthalates in them. So the FDA's role is under law, cosmetic products and ingredients, with the exception of color additives, are not subject to FDA approval before they go onto the market. Wow, okay. I guess because it's not a food or a drug, so therefore it doesn't matter. Let's see. So I'm going to skip down. See, in the nail polish, it's in like the Pure Ice nail polish, that cheaper brand. You know, it costs $1 for the little bottle. Let's see. LA Colors, Hot Topic. You go to Hot Topic, it's in the mall. It's in all of their nail polish. So like I said, if you want to check it out, you know, if you don't become what's called a hypochondriac and say, oh my God, you know, that's not cool. But it's in skin cream and lotion, like Dove Deep Moisture Nourishing Body Wash with Moisturizer. And it actually has the number for the product number that's on the site. Jergens, Pond's, even Dollar General lotions. Let's see, fragrances. It says all Axe, Think Body Spray, Chantilly, and that's one of those gift packs you get at Walmart. So Taboo, Heaven Scent. Oh my God, they don't even make Heaven Scent anymore. Oh, sorry. So for the baby products, Johnson & Johnson, baby lotion, baby Avalon Organics Protective AD and E ointment, Huggies lotion, Baby Magic, Burt's Bees, butt cream, and stuff like that. And then it's in a lot of deodorants, hair products, shampoos, and then it goes down to even children's makeup. You know how they make that for little girls who just want to play makeup. It's even in that. It's in diaper creams, wet wipes, infant soap, shampoo and body wash, baby oil, and baby powder. So, and this was updated as of December 2013. They update it every couple of years. So, anybody have any questions on that? I mean, it really doesn't say that it's, a high-risk product, a chemical. But it, having more chemicals in your body is a big thing. And you guys have any questions? Comments? Statements?
No, not yet.
No.
Give me time.
Not yet. If anyone that's listening, Bobby, is there any way that we can put, when I find research, right, that we could put it on, I know I could put it on Facebook. I'm not worried about that, but on the Blog Talk, how the link to Blog Talk?
Yeah.
Is there any way to get these research things put on the Blog Talk itself?
I'd have to look. I believe there is a way.
Okay. I'd like to start doing that. I mean, it's great that I could put it on our national page, but for those that are just listening, that's not in our group, they won't be able to, unless we can provide the links for people to look it up, because that would be great if we could do that. So leptins was something else that he had talked about. And I got this off of Healthline. It's it's a .com, but it's okay. So leptin and leptin resistance. I'm gonna tell you something, and this is the reason why, guys, I hate WebMD, because the more you look up, the more you're like, wow, that could be what's wrong with me. Wow. So leptins are a hormone that's in your brain that tells you, hey, you're full, stop eating. You're starving, you need to eat. It does both. So modern obesity research disagrees. Scientists increasingly say that a hormone called leptin is involved. Most of the time it's genetic, which a lot of times it can be genetics. If your whole family is overweight, it can be a genetic thing, but as long as there's nothing else wrong with the family, like hypo or hyperthyroidism, there could be many different things that could cause you to be overweight. Leptin resistance, in which your body does not respond to this hormone, and it's believed that this is the biggest leading driver of fat gain in humans. So it's a hormone that regulates body weight. And it's a product that's produced by your body's fat cells. And a lot of times they call it the safety hormone or the starvation hormone. And the primary target of leptins is your brain. And it's in your hypothalamus. That's where it mainly goes after. And it's supposed to tell your brain when you've had enough fat stored that you don't need to eat, and you can burn calories at a normal rate.
I think Bobby's got enough fat stored in his brain.
See, here's my problem, and people joke. I joke about this. I smell a Cheeto and gain 10 pounds, which is my thyroid is sluggish. It's like molasses on a cold day. That's how, and so they said they're not going to put me on medication just because it's slow. It's not, low enough for them to do anything. So there's also the high levels of cortisol, which I have, and then there's also insulin resistance that could be a possibility, and it traps your fat in your belly. And no matter what you do, crash diet, starvation diet, whatever, it's not going to burn the fat. Well, apparently leptins are in the same boat. It also has other functions that's related to fertility, immunity, and brain function. And beginning to wonder if that's what's wrong with Weathers, with his brain function. He may not have enough, or he has just too much. And I could talk shit about him because he's not on. So, leptin's main role is long-term regulation of energy. And that includes the number of calories you eat and how many you get rid of, as well as how much fat is stored in your body. The leptin system involved to keep you from starving or overeating, both of which would have made you less likely to survive in the natural environment. Okay, today leptin is very effective at keeping us from starving, but something is broken in the mechanism that's supposed to prevent us from overeating. Do you ever eat something that you really enjoy? I don't care if it's potato chips or whatever. Like Lay's potato chips, like the bag says, you can't eat just one. And you'll keep eating them, and you could feel your body getting full, but you'll just eat like another handful more. It's kind of like that. It's just not sending the signal to your brain. And I think that has a lot to do with carbohydrates, too, because I heard on a radio show once about that, about the carbohydrate addiction and stuff. So leptin's produced in your body's fat cells. And the more body fat they carry, the more leptin they produce. So it's carried in your bloodstream to your brain, where it sends a signal to the hypothalamus, the part that controls when and how much you eat. Okay. So fat cells use leptin to tell your brain how much fat they carry. High levels of leptin tell your brain that you've had plenty of fat stored. Well, apparently mine are not doing that because I've got enough, and it just, well, low levels tell your brain that fat stores are low. So that would probably be on someone who has very low body fat percentage. You know, a lot of anorexics, probably bulimics. Lorna, I don't know where you fit in that category. Aren't you really small? Or are you not that small?
Oh, I'm pretty small. I range anywhere from 95 to 105. Most of the time I'm 95.
That's my leg. That's one of my legs. I'm just kidding. I can't say that my grandmother was 75 pounds, and she was 5'6". Yeah, that was when right before she passed away, she was tiny. And it was just her illnesses and stuff like that.
Well, I've said many times I hate cooking.
Yeah. See, and you know what benefits me? It benefits, but it's a drawback because I have it, like celiac, and I have to watch out for gastritis now. So I'm limited, and that's why we don't eat out very often, hardly ever, just because I can't have a lot of different foods, and I don't buy any processed foods like no lunch meat and things like that, and we only eat chicken. Like I said, very, very. If I buy ground beef, it has to be Angus burger, because I can't eat regular ground beef, ground chuck, ground round, none of that, because it makes me sick. And I believe it's the way they raise the beef. Because when I was in Europe, they don't raise their cattle with hormones and stuff like that. And so when I was over there, I had no problem eating beef, which is weird, but I was over there for 3 months. And my body got purged of a lot of unnatural things, like their sodas only have 4 ingredients. You go take a look at your soda bottles and see how many ingredients there are. Over there, there's water, the caramel for the darker sodas, and flavoring and the carbonated water. Well, that might be under the water anyway. But yeah, there's only 4 ingredients.
I've
and
heard
there's
that
sodas
before.
over there. Huh?
I've heard that before.
Yeah. And the other thing is, well, I don't drink soda anymore either. I just drink water and herbal tea, and now I got to go to occasional coffee because it's really killing my stomach. They don't have the obesity problem that America does, because their breakfast is usually eggs, potatoes, like fried, the little grilled potatoes, and they'll take the little cherry tomatoes and they'll grill those. I mean, it's just a regular breakfast. They don't eat all of the donuts, the pastries, the cereals, and things like that we do.
Well, it's not just that; it's the crap that they put in our food.
Like exactly.
They're trying to kill us.
America. Well, that's another thing, but yeah. But their products are more organic than ours, and they're no more expensive than our. I mean, their food, a lot of their food's cheaper than ours is. And the other thing, all of their restaurants close at 5 o'clock, except for maybe a handful of them. I mean, they have McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that, but everything closes at 5. So if you want to eat dinner, you got to cook it yourself. That's just the way they are. There's very few places that you could, unless you're in a big tourist town. But other than that, it's mostly everything's closed, which it was hard, but so okay. So when you eat, your body fat goes up, leading your leptin levels to go up. Thus, you eat less and burn more. Conversely, when you don't eat, your body fat goes down, and that's leading your leptin levels to drop. At that point, you eat more and burn less. Kind of like couch potatoes. The less activity you have, the less you really need to eat, because you have to burn off more than you take in. And if you eat high, and this is the reason why we end up with people on my 600-pound life. Some of these people, I'm saying, including myself, to get up and move more. As long as you can move, get up and move more, and that helps. So that kind of system is known as a negative feedback loop, and similar to the control mechanisms for many different physiological functions, such as breathing, body temperature, and blood pressure. So what is leptin resistance? And people who are obese have a lot of body fat in their fat cells. And because fat cells produce leptin in proportion to their size, people who are obese have high levels of leptin. And given the way leptin is supposed to work, many obese people should naturally limit their food intake. Well, duh. In other words, their brain should know that they have plenty of energy stored. But I think that's where your brain's not connecting. It's just not firing right. So, however, their leptin signaling may not work. So, like I said, it's a misfire. It's not. It's like people who have Alzheimer's. Their brain synapses, they're not, when they fire, they're not connecting. Henceforth, that's why they end up the way they do. Or is that may not be Alzheimer's. That may be what's the one where you shake? The boxer there had it.
Parkinson's?
Bobby. Yeah, Parkinson's. Yeah. It's not your brain synapses aren't firing and connecting, and that's what this is doing. It's not saying, hey, woohoo, body, I got enough. I don't need to eat anymore. And so you're just going to keep eating and eating and eating and eating. And you just keep eating and you get bigger and bigger. It's kind of like the Willie Potter. hold on a second. Let me look it up. That's another one. I saw this on a TV show, and let me look it up because I want to go exactly. Make sure I spell it right. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, it's Prader-Willi syndrome. Sorry, I had it backwards. Okay, here it is. And I got this from the Mayo Clinic. So basically, now this is a genetic disorder that results in a number of physical, mental, and behavioral problems. And it usually begins around 2 years of age. And people want to eat constantly because they never feel full. Or they call that hyperphagia.
I have that. I can sit down and I can fill my plate completely full of food, and I'll still be hungry when I'm done. But I know that.
I'm not saying that's what you have, but it's kind of like the leptin resistance. So it's like your thing might not be connecting either, and saying, hey, stop eating or whatever. So it's all kind of the same thing. I say kind of, but so people with the Prader-Willi syndrome have trouble controlling the weight, and there's a lot of complications that come from that. And
well, I shouldn't say I have that. That's how I am. But after I finish whatever I'm eating and I sit for probably 10, 15 minutes, then I'm full.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, there's a lot of difference between that because that's genetic and the other one. So, but they both have the same
I'm just
issue.
a weirdo.
Now, see, with myself, which is what's funny. I can fix myself a child-sized portion, or like a 5-6 year old, whatever, and be full from eating that. And I think, I don't know if it's psychosomatic or what. I'll eat less than what's on my plate. But if I would fix my plate like a normal adult, I can either eat all of it or just a little bit less. So it's like one of those things where it just might be, you know how they say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and you think you're starving to death, you make this big Thanksgiving and not eat it all. Or you'll eat it all and you'll get sick. So for me, it all depends. So, hold on, where did I leave off? Okay, so that condition is known as leptin resistance, is now believed to be one of the main biological contributors to obesity. When your brain doesn't receive the leptin signal, it erroneously thinks that your body's starving, even though it has more than enough body fat or energy, whatever. So,
doesn't a lot of mentally handicapped people have something like that? I'm not sure what it's called. A friend of mine has a daughter that's mentally handicapped, and they have to literally padlock up the refrigerator.
That's the Prader-Willi syndrome.
Oh, okay.
That goes a lot with the Prader-Willi because they will eat themselves to death. And you have to lock all the cabinets, lock the refrigerator, and and they will scream and holler to say they're starving to death, but they're not. And the thing with the Prader-Willi is there's a lot of features on the child, disformities. And when I say disformity, I don't mean like massive deformity. I mean it's like facial features and poor muscle tone and things like that goes along with it. So your brain, like I was going back to, this makes your brain change its behavior in order to regain body fat. Your brain then encourages eat more, so it will think you have to eat to prevent starvation. Reduce energy expenditure. In an effort to conserve energy, your brain decreases your energy levels and make you burn fewer calories. Well, crap, that describes me all the time right now, but mine's depression, so. Thus, eating more and exercising less is not the underlying cause of weight gain, but rather a possible consequence of leptin resistance. So, for most people who struggle with it, willing yourself to overcome it, it is next to impossible. It's one of those things where you cannot will it to happen. It apparently. So, and when you're dieting, if you have leptin resistance and you fail, and a lot of women do, women have more body fat naturally than men do. And so
I'm on a very strict diet. I'm on a strict diet. I'm a seafood diet person.
You're a seafood? You seafood and eat it? Yeah, see, I can't do that. I have to watch like I said, I could sniff it, boom, it's on my butt or my thighs. That's just the way. And when I lose weight, it's from my face down. I'm like, oh, sure. First place it's going to go is my butt, hips, and thighs, but the first place I'm going to lose it is the opposite direction. So I'm like, damn, I can't win for losing. If you're leptin resistant, losing weight still reduces fat mass, which leads to a significant reduction in leptin levels. But your brain doesn't necessarily reverse its leptin resistance. Well, ain't that special? So when leptin levels go down, it leads to hunger, increased appetite, reduced motivation to exercise, and a decreased number of calories burned at rest. Well, crap. I'm not liking this at all. So, what causes leptin resistance? Inflammation. Inflammatory signaling in your hypothalamus is likely an important cause of leptin resistance in both animals and humans. My hypothalamus probably doesn't work with crap either. Free fatty acids. Having elevated free fatty acids in your bloodstream may increase fat metabolites in your brain and interfere with leptin signaling. So I take it, eat less free fatty acids. Having high leptin. Having elevated levels of leptin in the first place seems to cause, well, that's it, like, a redundant thing to say. So the factors are amplified by obesity, and this is what happens to a lot of overweight people. You get trapped in that vicious cycle, or a catch-22, as I like to call it. You eat because you're lonely or bored or depressed, and you gain weight. Therefore, that causes you to become more depressed. So what are you going to do? You're going to eat your comfort foods. And therefore, it's a vicious cycle. And it's hard to stop it.
Yep, that's not me. I don't do any of that.
So the best, and I guess, you know what, and I'm going to take this and run with it because it's probably my problem is, the best way to know if you're leptin resistant is look in the mirror. If you have a lot of body fat in your belly area, you're almost certainly leptin resistant. So if you have normal sized legs, and I've seen this in a lot of obese people, they can have bird legs and the big gut. And sometimes, I know it sounds funny, but some really obese people have no butt. None whatsoever. I mean, it looks like two flat pillows that's slapped up next to each other.
Bobby.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? Have you seen? I mean, it's weird. It's like somebody pinched their butt cheeks together and just kept them closed with the fingers. That's what it looks like. So, but yeah, if most of your belly fat is most of your body fat is in your belly, it says you are almost certainly leptin resistant, and that seems to be my problem. So it's not clear how leptin resistance can be reversed, even though there's some theories. So basically what they're saying, some research believe, is reduce diet-induced inflammation. Okay, here you go. Avoid processed food. Poop, I already do that. Eat soluble fiber. Exercise. Poor sleep is implicated in problems with leptin. So you got to get plenty of rest. Lower your triglycerides and eat protein. Wow. So the bottom line is leptin resistance may be one of the main reasons people gain weight and have such a hard time losing it. Thus, obesity is usually not caused by greed, laziness, or lack of willpower. So, a lot of heavy people, a lot of times when they go to restaurants, they get stared at. Like, oh, my God, I can't believe they're eating. Well, you got to eat something. But that doesn't mean to shovel your food in and eat 400 cheeseburgers. So, still, it's eat in moderation, no matter what you do. So it says, if you're concerned you may be leptin resistant, there are several steps you can take to live a healthier lifestyle. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, don't you start. It's been behaving. Where is... I'm looking for the... Hold on. These supplements work. Okay. No, that doesn't help. I'm looking for the ways to do it. Here are some other ways to correct or prevent resistance. Also, increase your physical activity. Decrease your intake of high sugar foods and beverages, like your sodas and whatnot. Eat more fish, high fiber cereals, get more rest, reduce your triglycerides. What I'm looking for is it just disappeared. And they do have a leptin diet, but I will post this on our. So here's a sample diet. It says eat foods that supply 20 to 30 grams of protein for breakfast. Good God. Don't eat after dinner. Make sure not to eat anything for at least 3 hours prior to bedtime. Eat 3 meals a day with no snacking in between. See, and here's my problem. My doctor told me not to eat 3 times a day, that I need to break down my meals and eat smaller meals because of my excessive GI problems.
I've heard that works very well.
Yeah, so, I have a nutritional shake for breakfast and then a small lunch, and then I'll have a snack in the afternoon, and then I'll have dinner around 4:30 and 6:30, but it's not a big meal. It's not, I don't eat a lot of it. So, and then I might have a snack, but like yogurt for my snack. It's usually yogurt or cottage cheese per se, but that just helps my stomach. And I also had a hiatal hernia. And if I don't eat, I get a lot of gas, and it pushes it up through my diaphragm. And I can't breathe because it pushes it right up. So that's why I eat the smaller meals. It says reduce your carbohydrate intake, but don't cut your carbs out completely. And I try to do this as much as possible. Besides portion control, eat slower. Because the slower you eat, you can actually get full quicker. I don't know.
I inhale.
You inhale. You know who inhales? Military and truckers.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's and medical people, because when I was nursing in the hospital, forget eat. You're lucky if you get a 15-minute break to eat, and you inhale it and you're done. And then it says, don't eat until you're stuffed. As soon as you feel yourself getting full, stop eating. Doesn't matter if you have 3 bites left, 4 bites. Hell, that 1 bite. And I'm infamous for doing this. I will leave 1 bite. And this is the way I look at it. That 1 bite is going to be the difference between me feeling, okay, I'm done, move on. Or I feel like I'm going to hurl my guts out and have extreme stomach pain. So I will leave 1 bite of food, and I try to do that. But here's the thing. If you have a good bit of your meal left, put it in the refrigerator. You know, I mean, actually depending on what it is.
I have a problem with that here. It gets put in the microwave instead.
That was the other thing on the phthalates that's in the plastics, in your Tupperware containers and all of those. And it said, try not to buy canned vegetables. So it's got to be the plastic that coats the inside of the cans. Watch out when you microwave your foods, because that's when the integrity of the plastic and stuff breaks down over time. Those same containers will break down.
I switched all my stuff out to glass.
Okay, and do that then. Yeah, do that instead of the plastics. Try not to nuke your. Also, everybody knows, don't microwave styrofoam. Why? Because it brings out a caustic gas. It's the same thing.
And it folds in half. It folds in half. And it folds in half.
Yeah, that too. Oh yeah, I've accidentally done that. You know, when I was younger. But yeah, switch to glass. If you can do it,
and it lasts longer too. That plastic crap don't last for shit.
Think about it. Have you guys ever taken Coke or lemonade, Pepsi, any of those soda products, especially lemonade, pour it in a styrofoam cup and watch what happens? It'll be destroyed. Now, the same thing with the acid in tomatoes, like spaghetti sauce. When you put spaghetti sauce in a plastic container and watch what happens, it starts to eat away at the inside of the container. And that's where, you know, and I wish they had more research on what exactly phthalates do to your body in general, because everything that I found, it says, well, we really don't know. So, which kind of sucks. So the need for, here you go. And it says you should learn more about the caloric intake, the content, and the foods that you eat. But you don't. It says you don't need to count your calories obsessively. Just do a roundabout. Like my nutritional shake's 180 calories. All right. So if I had 2 of them a day, right, one for breakfast, one for lunch, that's 400 calories. I'm gonna up it just to give me that free 40 calories extra for later on in the day. And I'm supposed to get about 1,700 calories a day, 1,700 to 1,800. Hell, I don't even get 1,400 a day. It's, you know, it's so.
I have no idea.
Yeah, think about it. You go eat at Burger King, there's your whole calorie intake for the whole day, depending on what you eat. I'm just saying.
Right.
But see, when I was in the Army, when I was in basic training, and here's what's funny. The time I was in basic training and the length of time for my AIT was about 6 months long altogether. Okay. I lost and this, it's not just because of the gut-wrenching, brutal treatment we get and the stuff that you have to go through. I lost the most weight and the most inches than anybody in our whole company. Because every time we went to the chow hall, I picked everything that had a little green leaf on it. One time, God forbid, I put my strawberries on pancakes, and these were the healthier pancakes. And one of the drill sergeants jumped my shit and said, "What the hell do you think this is? The IHOP?" And so, if you were overweight in basic training, this was back in 2007, you were not allowed to eat sweets. You were not allowed to eat carbohydrates. You had no choice, and they would stand there and watch you. That was the healthiest because my celiac didn't bother me at all. I never once had any bowel problems. So the mindset is if I could go back to eating that way, it would help me out in the long run. So crap, it disappeared. So the diet, crap, I lost my place. Sorry, guys. Blah, blah, blah. Well, crap. So a leptin diet will allow you to eat a wide range of vegetables, fruits, protein sources, including fish, meat, chicken, turkey. Fruit, rather than sugar-dense desserts, is the suggested option, like we've been discussing. The natural sugar in fruit is different than the sucrose and all the imitation crap. It says eat your butter in moderation, eggs and cottage cheese, protein-dense grains, legumes, such as oatmeal, lentils, and that Q word that I can't pronounce. Everybody knows what it is. And a lower carbohydrate intake may lead to gut bacteria changes and or constipation. So choose high-fiber foods as often as you can. Not only are you supposed to avoid your sugary sodas, but it says avoid artificial sweeteners. So your diet drinks, it's just as bad to drink as your regular drinks. And it says energy drinks. Well, this is the only thing that I hate. It says you're encouraged to eliminate soy products. There's only one type of bread that I can eat, and it's soy. So if I eliminate that, I'm just like up Schitt's Creek. I know I lost that place where I was at. Duh. Shut up.
Oh, he's finally awake.
I know, isn't he? Oh, the diet also places a strong emphasis on eating fresh organic foods and avoiding chemical additives and ingredients you can't pronounce. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. Simple as that. That's the only way to put it. So, I saved all of those, and if anybody wants any information on it, I will be more than happy to post the links as soon as Bobby can figure out how to get it on the Blog Talk link, and then I'll put it in the national page. And then the last thing is the BPA, and if I could get this link to come up because it wasn't coming up. It was having a problem. Come on. You can do it. Okay, what is BPA and why is it bad for you? I love these titles they come up with. Hold on. So, wow. BPA is an industrial chemical that may find its way into your food and beverages, and some experts toxic, and you should avoid it at all costs if you can. So, which is why I don't understand why they put so many products for infants and children that had BPA in it. So BPA is bisphenol, as a chemical that's added to many commercial products, including food containers and hygiene products. And it was first discovered in the 1890s, but chemists in the 1950s realized it could be mixed with other compounds to produce strong and resilient plastic. And like I said, it's used in food containers, baby bottles, and other items. So items packed in plastic containers, canned foods, toiletries, feminine hygiene products, thermal printer receipts. Oh, that was what it was. I saw, I read an article about the receipts that you get at your registers, and a lot of the cashiers that have to handle them, they were exposed to all the BPA if they use thermal printer receipts. And I'll look that up because I forgot all about that. It's in CDs, DVDs, household electronics, eyeglass lenses, sports equipment, and dental filling sealants. So they're saying that many BPA-free products, they just replace the BPA with bisphenol S or bisphenol F. Hopefully it made a big difference. Let's see. If you have plastic items labeled with recycling numbers 3 and 7 or the letters PC on the container, it most likely contains BPA, BPS, or BPF, all three chemicals. So so the BPA gets sealed into the product, and it allows part of it to break free and mix with the food or your drink or whatever. A recent study found that BPA levels increased in their urine by 66% following 3 days, which participants, geez, I can't even speak English, avoided packaged foods. Another study had people eat one serving of either fish or canned soup daily for 5 days, and their urine levels of BPA was 1,221% higher than those who consumed canned soup. It's harmful to your body, but some people will say, no, it's not. So it's one of those things. Is the flu vaccine good for you or is it not? So there's a big disagreement with that one too. So its biological mechanisms, BPA is said to mimic the structure and function of the hormone estrogen. Due to its estrogen-like shape, BPA can bind to estrogen receptors and influence body processes such as growth, cell repair, fetal development, energy levels, and reproduction. It can also interact with other hormone receptors such as your thyroid, thus altering their function. There is a controversy with the BPA. A lot of countries are wondering whether or not it should be banned, period. So in the EU, Canada, China, and Malaysia, all products for babies and young children, BPA is banned. They're not allowed to use BPA in those products. And some of the U.S. states have followed that, but there's no federal regulations on it. So, and some of the problems that the FDA has is in the original 1980s daily exposure limit of 23 micrograms per pound of body weight, and concluded that BPA is probably safe. It's probably safe. So, you know, let's see, dog. It may cause infertility if you get too much exposure to BPA. One case study observed that women with frequent miscarriages had about 3 times as much BPA in their blood as women with successful pregnancies. A lot of the in vitro fertilization, men with the highest BP levels were at 30 to 46% more likely to produce lower quality embryos. So, honestly, I think BPA is more dangerous than phthalates with all of these things that they're saying. So women who are pregnant and get exposed to a lot of BPAs, their the baby is about a half a pound less at birth than on the average of mothers who were not. So I would take it that it's not a good product to be exposed to. It says children born to parents exposed to BPA also tend to have a shorter distance. Now, Bobby, don't go measure this. Your anus to your genitalia. I don't know how they came up with that, but the average, whatever the average is, it's a shorter distance on children who were exposed to BPA. So, in addition, children are more hyperactive, anxious, and depressed. And I'm going to say this, and I hope I don't get crucified for this. I wonder if before they stopped using BPA and baby products and children's products, if that could be a possibility of what's wrong with children than the vaccines that they get. You know what I'm saying? Well, they say the MMR causes autism, but for all the generations back, we never had that problem until it said when they started using BPA products or the chemical. And that's going to be something I'm going to have to look into and research more. It's also linked to heart disease and type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. Let's see. It raises your risk of obesity by 47%. Damn. And it may cause PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, premature delivery, asthma, liver functions tend to be 29% higher risk of abnormal liver enzyme levels, immune function, thyroid function, and brain function. And so this is some of the things you can do to minimize your exposure. Avoid packaged foods. So eat mostly fresh, whole foods. Stay away from canned foods if you can at all possible, or foods packaged in plastic containers labeled with the recycling numbers 3 or 7 or PC on it. Drink from glass bottles instead of your plastic bottles or cans. Stay away from BPA products as much as possible. A lot of children's toys have BPA in it. And children, they put them all in their mouth. So there's no need for the do you guys know when they stopped putting lead paint on like the Matchbox cars? Did you guys happen to know?
No idea.
Because, like I said, children chew things. Banned. Okay. 1977 was when all lead paint was banned and to be able to use in houses. And it cost a fortune to de-lead a house. My landlord had to do it. And when the paint chips, I guess kids were eating them. And I guess some of us were smarter than others because we were told not to lick the walls. Some may lick windows, but, you know, don't microwave plastic. Microwave and store food in glass rather than plastic. Buy powdered infant formula because the cans that the formula comes in still has BPA in it. So, and also once you open a can of baby formula, you have to use that within, 24 hours, I believe, 24 to 48. I haven't had a kid in 20 years, so. But the powder, it's convenient. You can take it with you, and you know you can. It won't go bad as like the liquid formula does. So, for pregnant women, avoid BPA, especially in the early stages. So that's. So they believe there's a link between BPA and cancer. So trying to find out where it's like what we were talking about the estrogen. Was it last week before last? So this is a really good article, and I will post in our page because this is really good. This is really thorough, and I'm not going to sit here and read it line by line by line. So, and that's pretty much it. Ow! Damn it. So, is there anything else? Get rid of it. Anything else that you guys would like to cover?
Yeah, Lorna's problem.
Now's the time.
What problem?
I don't know. And we have no callers, huh? Oh, my God. Guys, it's okay to call in. It's like being on a party line.
I think there is somebody on. I think it's Maria.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, off topic of those chemicals, if you guys can.
I'm here. I'm listening.
I thought it was very informative. They're two documentaries. One of them, let me see if I can find it, because I was just watching it. The Coming Pandemic and Outbreak, The Anatomy of a Plague. Those are both really good documentaries to watch because it talks about a lot of the stuff that's going on now, and these movies were made 10 years ago, or these documentaries were made 10 years ago. One of them talks about the bird flu, of course, you know, and everything starts in China. So, tough shit, Joe Biden, but it's the China virus. Because every single, and I'm not kidding, every virus pretty much starts in China because of their wet markets. But it goes into how it started and the mortality rate and everything like that. So they're not very long. They're only like one of them's an hour and a half. The other one's like, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. So they're pretty good to watch. So now, comments, questions, statements from anybody?
My comment is no comment.
Your comment? Really?
You're
Seriously?
worthless.
Huh?
You're worthless.
Useless.
Lorna.
What? Yeah, what she said.
Yeah, she agreed with me, Lorna.
She did not.
What?
My daughter's in the background trying to stick up for you, Lorna.
Thank you.
That's because you have, yeah, see? Who's mean?
Even though you're a klutzy ditzy Wisconsinite.
I'm klutzy. What does that make me?
Shame.
A klutz from New Jersey.
But
Robin already has that name.
Yeah, right.
Does anybody want to go over anything else?
And it's a well-deserved name at that.
Yeah, do reindeer really know how to fly?
Listen, I'm not going to answer that. I've already told you that 100 times. You sprinkle fairy dust on them little bastards, and then they fly later.
Is Santa Claus really real?
Yes, Santa Claus was real. Next. Is Bobby a pain in the ass? Yes.
Why is Lorna so goofy?
Because Lorna drinks too much. That's
exactly.
Okay.
Oh, Lorna, you should be in the staff room. We traumatize each other on a daily basis.
I believe it.
When I first came in, you guys were talking about food and health and what we eat and everything. And I have friends in France, and they're all these cute skinny things or whatever. And my one friend, he cooks, and we were talking about food. And French food is absolutely delicious. And I told him, if he ever comes to America, I'll gladly cook for him. But I ain't making no French food. I said, the reason all y'all so damn skinny over there is you starve your kids. Because think about it, the French food, what they eat, and a large portion of Europe, they eat small portions. I mean, the food is absolutely delicious, but their portions are a lot smaller. And here in America, it got into our heads, or Italy. Think about Italy. Now, Italy, is a bigger people, but they still eat. They eat healthy, and they don't eat, like these super sizes. You go into McDonald's, it's super size this or super size that. You go into Olive Garden, and it's like they give a person 1 pound of pasta just for themselves when, a serving is only supposed to be, I think, a half a cup or a cup. So, and I think that's the problem. When I was a kid, we didn't eat nearly the way we do today. I mean, we had fried food. Don't misunderstand me. We had the gravy, the sausage gravy on biscuits and everything, but it was all homemade. Like you were saying, Kim, you could pronounce everything, all the ingredients. You not only could pronounce them, you knew what they were. You used real butter. I mean, so I think that, food, we have gotten away from it because all of a sudden they're telling you butter's not healthy for you. You've got to eat all this other crap that has stuff that you can't pronounce, and you don't know what it's doing to your body. And then they took all the sugar out because they took all the fat out because fat's bad for you, and then put sugar in it. But, sugar's bad for you, so they take out all the sugar and then put that stuff like aspartame in it. So I think we all just need to go back to eating, like 100 years ago.
No, see, go to Scotland, Ireland, or England. They do not eat small, tiny portions. They actually believe you got a dinner plate, you're going to fill that dinner plate. But the difference is there's no preservatives. It's organic. It's grass-fed. And it's, they don't do butter. I mean, they do, but not really. They don't use a lot. They don't have coffee creamer, and I thought I was going to die. Okay.
Oh,
have you ever had
just
coffee
use milk.
with milk? No.
Yeah.
That's sacrilege. No. So I just drank black coffee.
I'm
nope,
not saying I don't like it. To me, coffee creamer, that's a treat. That's, I actually will drink my coffee black with nothing in it if it's good coffee. But I have no problem using just plain milk. I don't understand. That's what I'm trying to say is when I was a kid, we ate fried foods, but we didn't overeat. Like you said, we didn't undereat either. But the thing is that they didn't have all this crap in it. Is my main point was, is it doesn't have all this shit in it that it does today, and we don't know what that crap is doing to our bodies.
Yeah, but think about it. We also went outside and played.
Yes.
We went outside and played all day after school. Did your homework? Okay, now go outside and play. So, it's like, but see, here's the sad thing. Children of today can't really go out and play like we did because now you got to worry about all these friggin' sex trafficking perverts kidnapping your kids. It's sad, but it's, and the one thing about margarine, I did look this up last week, margarine is one chemical, from being plastic.
Oh, margarine's nasty. I don't use margarine.
I don't care what kind of margarine it is. Don't eat it. Don't eat margarine. It's one chemical away from being plastic. One molecule.
When I was younger, of course, because I didn't know any better, and it was cheap and easy, and and I was on my own. But no. Once I started studying to be a home health aide and a nurses, and then an RN, I was going for my BSN, and I learned, I was like, oh no. Not to mention the fact that I bake, and margarine ain't doing crap. It ruins the taste and texture of your cookies and cakes. So
it really does. I don't like the texture of it. Not to mention, I don't know which product it is, but have you noticed? If you leave butter out, watch what happens to butter. It separates.
Oh, and then leave margarine out. Yeah.
It's water, and then there's the whatever it's made out of on top.
It separates.
It will separate.
Yeah, butter doesn't do that.
No. But like I said, everything that, has changed. Mm. And like I said, a lot of countries, and here's the thing. Your doctors will bitch and complain, no offense, but they want you to eat healthier. Great, so do I. But they charge a fortune for healthy foods compared to crap. You go to McDonald's and you can buy a cheeseburger for $1 or a salad for $7. Come on.
Well, here's the thing. I can actually go grocery shopping with $25 and get enough food for almost a week. If my shopping budget, yes, you have to have a base, ingredients like with spices and and stuff like that. But generally speaking, you've got $10 that you take and go to McDonald's and get a meal for, 2 meals for. I can go and get one or two meals for like 3 or 4 people. Do you know what I mean? Because I buy real food. And I buy what's called lost leaders. I don't know if that's the common term or just something my husband taught me, but that's where when you go to the dented cans or the boxes that have hair in it.
But you've got to watch out for cans. You have to watch out for cans that are dented.
I don't buy. I don't. Yeah, I was just using that as an example.
No, I know, but for people that do, when you see a dented can, as long as the dent is not on a seam, it's okay. You don't want to ever get where the seam of the can is, not the paper, the can itself. Because
and you don't want
you
rust.
could have possibly broke the seal on it, and you end up with botulism or E. coli or whatever, depending on what's in the can. So watch out for dented cans that's on the seam.
The same thing. A lot of people, they say, you know that date, that expiration date on a package. It says best used by. That doesn't mean it's going to be spoiled on that day. That just means that you're best to use it by that day, or stick it in the freezer. But supermarkets tend not sell it after that day. So if the best use date is, say, February 10th, you go into a grocery store, you can pick up a steak, a $20 steak on that day for like less than $10. Because it's either they either got to sell it or trash it.
Okay, there is a thing. I was told this by a butcher, and what they do. I'm not saying every grocery store does this. I'm not, but depending on your store that you go to, any hamburger meat that's left out getting towards the expiration date, they will take it, because you could still eat hamburger meat if it's brown, but when you open it up and it's pink on the inside, it's still fine. It just means the blood's drained from that area. But what some meat departments do is they will take that hamburger meat and mix it with new hamburger meat to refresh it.
Oh, my God, no. Oh.
Yes. And that's how they extend it.
I did not know. That's
Yes.
Luckily, most of our beef comes from a farmer, so that's.
Yeah, I can't eat beef unless it's Angus beef. I can't eat it because it makes me sick. Now,
I think the other thing that they do is they take, like chicken, we'll use that to just said that, when it's almost expired, and they'll turn it and make it into something else and put it on the shelf. Like a barbecue chicken deep meal.
Well,
thing.
Once it's cooked, it gets a couple of more days, and that's. I don't like food being thrown away, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's better than throwing it away. But what she's saying, mixing the old ground beef with new ground beef, that I have a problem with, because that's dangerous. But if you're taking chicken that's going to but if you're taking chicken and then cooking it and then selling it as a cooked product, well, that's not a problem.
No.
That's only another day or two. Yeah.
Oh, no. She's talking about, how you could buy the leg quarters that have the barbecue seasonings, the spices? So it covers the smell of possible chicken going bad. I'm not saying that all stores do this.
Oh,
yeah, I know you're talking about cooking it.
They cook.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The thing about chicken and pork, it does not smell bad. If it does not smell bad when you open it, but when you cook it, if it smells bad chicken and bad pork, oh my God, no, it's. Most of the time when chicken's bad, you can smell it before you cook it. Sometimes you can't tell it's bad.
Open the package.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sometimes it's inside and it's not released, you know what I'm saying, the smell. So when you cook it, then you'll smell it. It's the same thing with pork. Yeah. Also, and this is one rule of thumb that was taught to me, when in doubt, throw it out.
Yes.
If it doesn't... Yes. Your lunch meat, chicken, and I don't know about pork so much, but I know chicken and I know lunch meat. If it feels slimy, I will throw it out.
No, trash it.
I do not care.
It. I trash it.
Now, unless it's packaged with a little bit of juices, but you can tell the difference between slime and juice. So, yeah, and it's the same thing goes for now. Milk is the only thing that you really that sour cream in your dairy products, you really can't push them too far. Because
well, some of them you can, depending on how cold your refrigerator is. Like my 2% milk, I can go at least 4 or 5 days past that Best By date. And yogurt, it's already curdled milk. And cottage cheese, too. As long as they got mold on it, that's fine.
Yeah, and see, that's what you'll notice with sour cream. Sour cream separates and you'll have the water. Right. It doesn't mean it's bad, but you'll start, and it won't be white. It'll be like a yellowish color. Throw it away.
Yep.
Yeah, throw it away.
Yeah.
Butter, believe it or not, butter will grow mold on it. Now,
but see, here's the thing: if you leave butter out, if you leave butter out too long, and it turns, I mean, you can actually leave butter out at room temperature for quite a while before it turns.
I do.
But you can tell. But if it's been too hot or it's been out too long, it has this smell or this taste and that it can go rancid. It's not often. It takes a long time. It depends on the quality of the butter because you have different qualities. And whether it's salted butter or sweet butter because they also age different. Being a baker, I know a lot about the butters. But you can tell. I mean, like you said, it doesn't get the mold, but it gets a really weird flavor and smell to it. And I won't use it after when it gets that way. I'll just trash it.
There is. Oh, crap. I probably don't even know where the hell. I have a list of foods that you're not supposed to refrigerate. Anybody wants to know, just type up what foods should not be refrigerated. Boom. There'll be a list of foods that you should not refrigerate. I'm trying to think.
Really? There's foods that should not be refrigerated?
Yes. Yes, you should not refrigerate your fruits. Yeah, don't refrigerate fruit. It accelerates the aging process, and it makes them rot faster.
Yes. Here's the thing, like bananas. Okay, so like I make banana cookies, right? I make banana oatmeal cookies. So what I do is I get bananas, I buy them, okay, almost overripe, ripe or overripe, and I stick them in the freezer to let them get frozen until I'm ready to use them. And then, because they get the black skin and all that, and it also makes it super sweet. It makes them super sweet, but you have to use them immediately you take them out of the freezer. You can do the same thing with avocados, but you have to eat them immediately.
Avocado, you don't refrigerate any of that stuff.
Well, like I said, you can freeze them because, like, you get them on a good sale. You can actually freeze them because I looked into this. You're right. You can't leave them in the refrigerator on regular because it accelerates the aging. Not protecting the way they ripen, whatever the hell that shit's called.
Yeah.
Same thing. Tomatoes. Don't keep tomatoes in the refrigerator because it takes away the taste. Strawberries, all that crap. You're right. You're not supposed to. Yeah. Well, it's not so much, I guess, that you can't keep them in the refrigerator short term as long as you're going to be eating them immediately.
Oh,
but,
No, it takes as long as you eat them within a couple of days. But it's recommended not to. Now, believe it or not, in America, we stick our eggs in the refrigerator.
They're better out. They last longer out.
In the UK. In general, all three of those countries over there, they do not refrigerate their eggs as long as they're not refrigerated beforehand. Because once you refrigerate them, they have to stay in the fridge.
Exactly. And now we get our eggs from a farmer. So when we first get them, we don't always put them in the refrigerator right away because, there's no room or we don't need to. My camper... I can stick them in the thing underneath the bench the store, you get the storage area underneath, and that's cold. I mean, it's not refrigerator cold, although right now it's probably colder than my refrigerator, but because it's a cool dark space,
Stick them outside right now. Right now it's negative 5 degrees outside where I'm at.
Yeah. No, right now for me, I think it was 30 degrees. So underneath, so where I keep my storage area, it's like 30 degrees. So, but my point is that like in the summertime, I can stick them under there. They're out of the sun. It's cooler under there than, but not as cold as the refrigerator. So they will last longer. You know what I mean? And the same thing with fruits. Like when I took my 3,000-mile road trip, I was like, what am I going to do with food-wise? And so I stocked up. I got a great big bin of veggies. I went to the veggie stands and bought vegetables because they said as long as you buy vegetables, like you were just saying, that have not been in a refrigerator, they can go for like a week to 10 days just sitting out in a tub. And that's what I did. I got like cucumbers and green peppers and zucchini and all that, and stuff like that. And I put it in a tub, and it lasted. I was gone for like 10 days or whatever it was. And what I came back with that I still had left was still fresh.
I learned a lot by watching Alaska, The Last Frontier. And when they put their eggs up, they don't use a refrigerator. They take mineral oil, and they put gloves on when they do this. They take a little bit of mineral oil, and they rub it around the egg completely. And that is just like the egg if it was sitting and the mother and the chicken was sitting on top of them. And they will keep longer. But
really,
I don't know how long. I can't remember because it's been a couple years since I've seen that episode. But and if you take your potatoes and onions, you have to do them separately though. Take pantyhose, and yes, they still make pantyhose, people. You throw one in one of the legs, you spin it, put another one in, and you spin it, and you just keep going until you get all the way to the top. For some reason, putting them in pantyhose, they last longer if you don't have a root cellar.
Really?
Yep. And I've done it, so I know. It does work.
Well, I don't know if I have my dehydrator, and I've been practicing. Right now, I'm cooking 2 different types of beef that I got last date by, to practice using my dehydrator and different flavorings and stuff. And but at any rate, a while back, I dehydrated some spinach leaves, which still, when I make omelets with them, it's like they have really nice, rich flavor still, beautiful bright green, and it's like over a month later, and it's still like that. I mean, it's more like spinach flakes, but still. But I also did onions.
No, I know.
And the onions, I made a pot roast the other night, and they just plumped up right away. The flavor was good. I was like very happy with it. The same thing with the garlic, and now the green peppers. I haven't used them yet. I did nibble on some of them, but and it's amazing the flavor. It kept the flavors. I'm like really happy with my investment in this dehydrator.
I want to get one.
It wasn't expensive. I think it was like $40, $50. And it's not big. It's a small thing. I mean, what I do is I prep it the night before, and then when I leave in the morning to go to work, I open my window a little bit so that it doesn't overwhelm the smell, and I plug it in. And when I come home, it's 8 hours later, 10 hours later, it's all done. And my camper smells nice, and it's warm.
Okay. I was looking. Never refrigerate your onions, ever.
Oh no, I don't.
No, because it turns the it changes the chemical the peeled onions. Yes, you keep them in the refrigerator, but once you cut them open, it will turn it to starch. But I'm looking for.
Well, my onions I keep in the cabinet.
No, yeah, that's in a warm, dry place.
Right. Now, if I cut up an onion to use and I don't use it all, I'll put it like we have like these little Pyrex dishes and with lids and stuff, because you want to put it in something that's airtight, because if you put it in the refrigerator and it's not airtight, everything else is going to absorb that taste. So, and you don't, and I guess I know I don't think you're supposed to leave it in. Yeah, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to use it within 1 to 2 days, though.
And this is a thing, an argument they've had. It says, are cut raw onions poisonous? Yes.
They are?
Yes. It will make you seriously ill because it attracts bacteria. Onions do. So if you cut an onion up, right?
Right.
You better put it in a vacuum sealed bag in that refrigerator.
Okay.
Because it does it attracts bacteria. Hold on. My internet.
Over how long a period of time? I mean, because I've been doing this for years.
Never.
Yeah.
So foods that should never be refrigerated. Well, that was kind of stupid. Says,
onions are never.
Says, only if it's not cut. If it still has the skin on, the onion skin, that's fine.
No, I don't. No, I'm not going to put whole onions in the refrigerator. The only onions I put in the refrigerator are leftovers. Like if I dice them up to make omelets and I diced up too many.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. I would say overnight, but that's about it. Your food crispers. I don't know how many you have in your refrigerator. I got 2. Mine don't work with crap, so it doesn't really matter. Meat and cheese, especially cold, and crispers help humidity-loving produce last a little longer. The refrigerator should not be a default storage space in your kitchen.
Correct.
Let me see. Okay, potatoes. Never keep potatoes in the refrigerator.
Agreed.
Because it causes the starch in potatoes to turn to sugar, and it gives them the wrong flavor and all of that crap. So it's just no life threatening.
They turn black. They turn black.
Yeah. Sweet potatoes. Same reason. Onions.
I don't put potatoes in the refrigerator. Put any root vegetables in the refrigerator. Even carrots, I don't put in the refrigerator.
If you put your onions and potatoes in the refrigerator, here's what happens. Potatoes emit moisture and gases that will make your onions rot.
Oh, that's interesting.
Garlic, it says garlic should can be kept for 2 months
in the refrigerator. No,
for 2 months outside the refrigerator. Avocados.
Yeah. Ours doesn't last that long.
Well, here's I know. Here's the other thing. They can't ripen in the refrigerator. Tomatoes, like we said, tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got
if
you have a green tomato,
I'm Italian. Garlic and tomatoes don't last long in our house.
It causes tomatoes to become mushy. But if you have a green tomato that's not ripe yet, unless you want to make fried green tomatoes, flip it upside down and put it in your windowsill, if you have one.
Yes.
Or just on the counter, and it helps them ripen.
Yep. Here's another trick. Put in a brown paper bag. You can put if a peaches, like if you don't have ripe peaches or bananas, any kind of fruit that's not ripe that has a skin on it, if you put it in a paper bag, it'll speed up the process. I forget why. My boss explained it to me. He was a world-renowned entomologist, and he worked with the government on mostly chocolate, but other things, the fruits too. Like back in the 70s, I don't know if you remember, but in Philadelphia there was a bug problem with ants or whatever. This fruit that came in from some country. I don't remember where it was from, but at any rate, and so he was very knowledgeable. So a lot of what I know with regards to like fruit, vegetables, and how to store them and cook them and everything, I learned from him. And so far he's been proven right. You know, so a lot of what you're saying I knew. Some of it I didn't. You know, and there are some things that they say you must keep in the refrigerator, but you actually don't have to. Like ketchup. You know, everybody's like, oh, no, it's because on the bottle, you know, these things say, you know, refrigerate after opening. But depending, again,
no, you don't have to refrigerate ketchup or mustard.
But they say on the bottle, the ketchup once open, put in the refrigerator, but you don't have to. It also depends on how quickly do you use it. I mean, you don't really want to leave it sitting out there for a year or whatever, but
no. A lot of restaurants will keep them out. So let me get back to the.
I know, but they also use them, empty them pretty quickly.
Yeah. So bananas, not in the refrigerator. Melons. The only time you put melons in the refrigerator is after you cut it open.
Yep.
Let's see.
That's one of the few fruits I like cold.
Stone fruits.
What
peaches,
fruit?
Apricots, nectar. They call them stone fruits. The seed.
Okay.
It says peaches, apricots, nectarines, plums, cherries should all be ripened at room temperature, stem down.
Yeah.
Once the fruit starts softening slightly to the touch, then you can put them in the refrigerator for about 3 to 5 days.
Right, to make them last a little longer.
Yeah. Bread, a lot of people refrigerate it to keep off the mold, but that's wrong. They said freezing it is a better option, and I've done that.
Oh, yeah, I freeze bread. Well, I do keep my bread in the refrigerator, you know, simply, you know, the only other place
it says not to.
No, they say you're not supposed to keep it in a dark place either, though. So I don't have too many choices on where to put it. I guess I should get a bread thingy.
But pastries and cakes, cookies, and all that stuff, don't put them in the refrigerator. They never last that long anyway. Oh, crap, I didn't know this. And I got to get out of the refrigerator.
Doesn't it depend on what you're using it? Like if you're using milk, then it is supposed to go in the refrigerator, I thought. Like if you're making a milk-based frosting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If your hot sauce is a vinegar base, refrigerator.
No.
Because it can last for months on the pantry shelf. And the cold weakens the flavor and changes the viscosity of the sauce. Huh.
Now that I didn't know. I'll have to have that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Only if it's vinegar based.
Right.
If it's vinegar based, you keep it out. Spices, you don't put in the refrigerator.
No.
Honey, you never leave in the refrigerator.
Spices also should be replaced. I think it's every 6 to 12 months, depending on the spice. But again, we go through those like crazy. And it's not that they go bad; it's that they lose their intensity.
Yeah. Honey, peanut butter does not have to be refrigerated. Oils do not have to be. Never refrigerate them. salad dressing.
I do like refrigerating my peanut butter sometimes. I will refrigerate my peanut butter sometimes because it makes it hard. And then like I'll just take a spoon and eat it. So
yeah. On your salad dressings, if it's oil-based, keep it out of the refrigerator. Things like ranch dressing and things like that, those have Parmesan, those have to be in the refrigerator. But if it's oil-based, you don't put it in the fridge.
So like a vinaigrette, you really don't need to put in the refrigerator, even though it says it.
Yeah, you don't. It's oil and vinegar. Yeah, you don't. Apples, if you refrigerate, it reduces the amount of antioxidants in the skin.
Oh.
Coffee, the coffee grounds, you don't need to refrigerate it.
No.
Now,
but you can't put them in the freezer to make them last long. If you buy it in bulk or whatever, you can put them in the freezer, but and that extends its life. But once you take it out of the freezer, of course, you got to use it. No?
If you made a cup of coffee, no, don't freeze it either. And I'm going to tell you why.
No.
You can
you buy
coffee.
bulk coffee grounds. Oh, I thought you were talking about coffee grounds.
No, I am. Coffee grounds, the moisture messes up the texture and the flavor of the coffee. Put it in an airtight container outside the refrigerator. Yeah, don't freeze it. Yeah. But if you made a cup of coffee, or if you go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, whatever, yeah, you could put that in the refrigerator because it was already made. But your coffee beans, never freeze them or refrigerate them. Condiments. So ketchup and mustard, you don't have to refrigerate.
Right.
Soy sauce, which I did not know soy sauce didn't have to be. It's fermented. Duh.
Well, I've never put soy sauce or Worcestershire sauce in the refrigerator. I don't put any of that crap in the refrigerator because,
I do. I got a condiment rack. I got a condiment rack in my refrigerator. But it's fermented.
No, we don't put mayonnaise. We put mayonnaise in the refrigerator, but we don't put ketchup or mustard or
believe it or not, mayonnaise has vinegar in it.
Dressing. Yeah,
but mayonnaise has vinegar. So
you
a lot of people would think
our mayonnaise out. No, you have to put it in the refrigerator.
But that's because of the egg.
It out. Yeah. But again, it depends on the type of mayo because there's different kinds.
Yeah. Maple syrup or any of your syrups, you don't need to put them in the refrigerator. See, I've always thought because by the FDA guidelines, they have to put a label, must refrigerate after opening. You don't have to refrigerate syrup.
Well, no, we put our syrup in the refrigerator so that the ants don't find it.
True. But that's why you get the airtight containers. Chocolate, humidity, any type of humidity in the refrigerator, and not to mention chocolate will absorb every flavor, every smell in the refrigerator. So you don't want chicken tasting chocolate or whatever. You keep it out, and then you put it on ice whenever you want to use it. So those things you never refrigerate.
Well, I'll refrigerate my candy to get it hard or whatever, but I do usually put it in a plastic bag and seal it. But because that man, I worked for a man who specialized in chocolate. We got bugs, dead ones, luckily, and chocolate from all over the world. And some of it, for him to take taste tests. 1 year we got chocolate from Nestle's. It was their Easter candy. They had stored it in a warehouse because it was an insurance claim. They had stored it in a warehouse, and the guy that owned the warehouse stored black pepper next to the chocolate. So they would put in an insurance claim saying that he ruined their chocolate. So they sent
3 minutes
my
left.
boss.
right,
but at any
Bobby.
rate, yeah. So chocolate is definitely absorbs flavors, and you can taste it. Well, it was a good show, and it was very informative. I'm glad I didn't miss it too much.
Yes, it was a good show, Kim, as usual. Thank you. And I want to thank
you.
everybody that participated and all the listeners out there. Hope everybody has a good rest of your night. God bless you all. God bless America, our children, veterans, first responders, and God bless the Defenders VII.
Yep, amen.